This is Motorsport Radio. Motorsport Radio. The Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio.
Hello and welcome. This is the Superbike Show live on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester. Thank you very much for tuning in to us. And this is a sort of a new thing that we are sort of doing. Bit of an experiment. If it doesn't work out, we'll never mention it again. Hopefully it does, and you'll be involved in it because Kiko Alexander Giles is here with us. He's our resident bike expert, and he's here to say hello, to talk everything bikes, basically. So hello, good evening, Kiko. Kiko, we can't hear you. What's going on?
Hang on.
There you go. Oh.
Sorted.
Giving me a heart attack already.
I was just making sure Lester was aware. You know, he's a little bit asleep sometimes.
Right.
No, like we said last week, we wanted this to be our own show. It's just the bike stuff. We don't want none of that boring car rubbish. You know, keep that out of this.
Steady.
We're moving in on a Tuesday night now, 8 o'clock. We'll talk for roughly an hour, probably go over. But yeah, that's what it is, basically. We're going to talk MotoGP and British Superbike tonight. It's going to be a lot to do.
Indeed, yeah. We will try and cover literally everything instead of skipping through everything. So we will we'll make a start on the MotoGP, and later we'll get to the BSB and preview Cadwell Park, which is coming up this weekend, and we'll try and bring all the latest, biggest rumours, breaking news, and all the inside gossip I will try and get out of Kiko. He knows things about stuff and people.
I know nothing.
Yeah, he does. And incidentally as well, if you're tuned in to us live right now, either on our website, motorsport.radio, or on one of our many streams that we've got online right now, either on Facebook Live, on YouTube, I think we're on Twitch as well. I probably should really keep a note of these things. But yeah, keep in touch with us. Send us your message, and please do feel free to be vocal and disagree with anything that Kiko's got to say.
Why would anyone want to disagree with this? You know, I mean, come on.
Think of him as your
controversial.
Yeah, he can be your motorsport pinata for tonight. Yeah. So you can whack him over the old internet with or put him in his place and put him in his box, if you will. Oh, yeah. So anyway, Kiko, let's get started then. And the most recent, biggest event was the weekend. MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3. What is the big news at the moment then?
The big news is that Andrea Dovizioso has been elected into a rather select group of people to win 4 races on a Ducati. And it's the first time since Phillip Island from 2007 to 2010 that Ducati have won back-to-back races at the same circuit. What a race it was on Sunday. I told you last week, tune into the Moto3 race, and that actually turned out to be probably the most boring one if you're looking for a battle for the lead. The MotoGP race was absolutely bang on. Andrea Dovizioso and Marc Marquez went head-to-head, Honda versus Ducati. And I've got to say, right down to the final corner, neither of them gave up. And it really was a treat for all fans. We knew Ducatis would be strong coming into this round. They dominated. They walked it last year, actually. More than domination. But Marquez seemed to have some sort of inspired qualifying session. He stuck it on pole. Marquez did the business. But come race day, we all knew the Ducatis would get their way to the front. Jorge Lorenzo took the lead initially. And Andrea Dovizioso was happy sitting in third. Valentino Rossi was in there in the early days. The race itself was all about tyre selection. It was a bit of a lottery with tyres. So some people, Johann Zarco, went for the soft compound on front and rear. Valentino Rossi went medium hard. The Ducatis went soft. Marquez went hard. It was all over the place. Marquez went hard on his tyres, I must just clarify that. I know we're not past the watershed yet, Lester.
I was about to say, just be careful, just because, there are people with filthy minds. Not me.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of any. I'm too into my MotoGP at the moment. But
anyway, back to tyres.
It was that kind of race. No one really knew what was going to happen. It was a bit of a lottery. And we ended up getting this brilliant race. The first half of the race, there was 7 riders all in it. Dovizioso, Pedrosa, Lorenzo, Marquez, obviously, Valentino Rossi, Johann Zarco, and Maverick Vinales. However, both Yamahas, Rossi and Vinales, went wide at turn one on different laps, separate occasions, and they kind of mired themselves down the field a little bit. They weren't ever really going to challenge for the victory. Zarco started to fade, and Lorenzo was passed around the halfway distance. So it was always going to be between Marquez and Dovizioso, and Dani Pedrosa started to come good towards the end of the race. But I think it was with 7 laps to go, Marquez and Dovizioso had a really big battle. Every other corner they were trying to get past each other. And it was a kind of fight and spirit that we haven't really been able to see from Andrea Dovizioso. In the past, people have kind of doubted his ability to scrap it out. But after his race win in an absolute brilliant head-to-head, one of the best MotoGP's ever seen, it's hard to question that now. You know, if Dovizioso's going in to the last lap in a head-to-head with Marc Marquez, who is one of the greatest riders in attacking mode, and he's winning that, you've got to look at Andrea Dovizioso now as a serious title contender. You know, this is the kind of bloke who hadn't won a race in 7 years actually, up until Sepang last year, and now he's won 3 this year. He is 16 points back. He is now second in the championship, I believe, ahead of Vinales and ahead of Valentino Rossi. So coming into the summer break, they were all very close. But now we've had 2 rounds, and it's been Marquez and Dovizioso. I'm predicting that is going to be the pattern now for the rest of the season. Sure, Valentino Rossi is going to be strong in Misano, and sure, Dani Pedrosa will be strong in other circuits, and Maverick Vinales will take a win before the end of the year. Most likely Silverstone, because he won there last year on Suzuki. But Dovizioso and Marquez, for me, are the people or the riders that you have to keep your eye on. We are drawing to a close for this season. Now we're in the second half. These races are going to come thick and fast. One injury, and you are going to have a problem. One mechanical breakdown, and you are in trouble. You are now going to be looking at misfortune for other riders as well to try and get back into that championship hunt. Could happen
to the top 2, though. What you're saying?
It could. We've seen it happen before. Valentino Rossi threw away his championship in 2006. He did the same 2 years ago. So there is mistakes left. But if we're taking mistakes out of the equation, we're looking, I think, at a 2-horse race. The question for me is Andrea Dovizioso's consistency. Can he put together a string of races, top 3? I'm not sure. However, another question mark is Marc Marquez. Can he stay on the bike for the rest of the year? We know the Honda's struggling. It is becoming the more rounded motorcycle. It is getting there slowly but surely. But Marquez likes to push things to the limit. And the problem he has now this year is that if he's going head-to-head with Andrea Dovizioso, he can't afford to allow Dovi to have an odd win. He has to challenge Dovizioso because 5 points at the end of the year could be the difference between first and second. That's how serious this is this year. Ducati's celebration said it all in Austria. It's their 3rd win of the year. It's Dovizioso's 3rd win of the year. And quite frankly, it's one of their best wins we've ever seen in MotoGP. You know, that celebration to me was a bit of relief to finally say, yes, we are doing it. We're not just doing it when Yamaha have their bad weekends in Catalonia and in Mugello, but we're being able to win now when we've got Honda up there at the sharp end. This is no fluke, by the way. This is Andrea Dovizioso, as we know. 13 years ago, he won the 125cc championship. If he wins it again if he wins a championship this year, it will be one of the most remarkable stories to come out of MotoGP in recent history.
Well, I've just been having a look at some of the stats, and I don't think it's as clear-cut as you're making out to be, or perhaps suggesting it probably will be. I don't think it is going to just be a 2-horse race. Vinales, like you say, he's 8 points away from second place right now. Both, according to MotoGP.com, all 3 of them, Marquez, Dovizioso and Vinales, all have 3 victories each so far, with Rossi and Pedrosa getting the other 2. In terms of stats, if you take away points, if you just look at the stats table, in terms of victories, second places and third places, Marquez has the more second places, but they're all kind of very evenly matched, really.
Yeah,
And
they are very evenly matched. But what my doubt is for Yamaha and Valentino Rossi and for Maverick Vinales is they can't afford to keep having these 6s and 7s. They can't afford to have that. They now need to start saying, listen, we need 1-2s every weekend. Because if they don't, unfortunately, their championship will be over by the time we get to the flyaways. We saw last year, Valentino Rossi was taking points off Marquez, but he wasn't winning. That was the problem. It was the podium here and the podium there, but Marquez was always 1 or 2 places behind. There was no big chunks coming out. And now we're in the second half of the year as well. We have Silverstone, we have Misano, we have Aragon, the 3 flyaways, and Valencia. That's 7 races. Now, that sounds a lot, but in them 7 races, a lot can happen. You're coming to Silverstone, British Grand Prix, the weather is always variable. You go into Misano, which is Valentino Rossi's home circuit. He hasn't won there for 3 years. Then you go to Aragon, which is a Marc Marquez just domination zone, really. And then you get to the flyaways. Now, Motegi is Honda's test track and a Honda own track, shall I say, and they go well there. Then you get to Phillip Island, and again, weather will come into it. Last year we had a load of crashes in qualifying, and the grid was upside down. Marquez chucked it up the street in the race. Malaysia, again, another round that can throw up a really odd result, depending on weather, humidity, and tyre conservation is key. There's so many variables. And to be fair, I wouldn't like to be in Maverick Vinales' shoes right now, because it's almost like he's relying on Marquez and Dovizioso now to have bad weekends. And the form that them two are in, it doesn't look likely. It really doesn't. Dovizioso is a top 6 man now. Every race. He's a podium threat every race, and you've seen this weekend he can win. So this is the problem. They can't afford for Dovi to be up there every weekend. The Yamahas have to start sorting themselves out. Valentino Rossi chucked away a perfectly good position in Brno when he didn't come in to change tyres. It's always a farce when the Yamaha boys try and get him in. He doesn't listen. Whereas Maverick Vinales got a 3rd in that race. But they both had 6th and 7th, respectively, in Austria. Now, they struggled there last year as well, 3rd and 4th. But last year, they weren't this far off, really. They weren't a million miles away. And I just question. There's too many riders now that can get in the way. There's Zarco, he's unpredictable. Folger, we saw in Germany, he can get a 2nd place. He is an accomplished rider. Cal Crutchlow's got another podium coming, I'm fairly sure, this year. There's a lot of riders, Danilo Petrucci's another, there's a lot of riders who can get in the way and disrupt the rhythm of these Yamaha riders. And I'm not saying it's all over, and I'm not saying it's as clear-cut as it's just a 2-horse race. But if Yamaha want to have a serious chance where they don't have to rely on bad weekends for Honda and bad weekends for Ducati, they've got to start getting podiums, both bikes on the podium. Doesn't matter what way round. They have to start chipping away at the 2 riders who are starting to pull away.
Well, that clears that up, I suppose. Thanks for that. Okay, well, do you agree, if you're tuned in and into us live, do you agree? Is it a 2-horse race, or maybe what Kiko said, it's actually not a 2-horse race, a 3-horse race? Anything could happen, but would something specifically happen? I think you was a bit vague in nailing your colours to the mast there a little bit, Kiko.
Yes.
But
I mean, personally, I don't think it's always clear cut. But the 2 men in form at the moment are Dovizioso and Marquez, and you'd be a fool to back anyone else. I think. If I was a betting man, I'd be backing Marquez because he's got that championship winning experience. Ducati haven't had that in 10 years.
Are you a betting man?
Honda had it last year. I am a bit of a betting man, actually.
Put a bet on then.
I might do. I should have took Dovizioso's odds at the start of the year because I like a bit of profit every now and then. But unfortunately, I didn't take Dovizioso's odds. I think I backed Vinales, actually. I think I backed Vinales, but I'm not so sure of that anymore. I really aren't. Because we're getting to a point in the season where performances need to start happening. And like I've just said, you need to start bagging these podiums, these wins. You can't keep allowing the same 2 riders, 3 riders to be at the top. Valentino Rossi especially. He's over 30 points back now. Now, that doesn't sound a lot, and he could win every race. So towards the end of the year, Marquez comes 2nd, he'd still win the championship.
Unlikely.
Exactly. That's a mathematical equation. The realistic equation is it's going to be tough, and you're going to have to fight hard. It's not going to be gifted to you like it has been in previous years. It's getting to the point now where you've got to start winning. I can't remember the last rider to come from behind in a championship after the halfway point of the season and win the series, I think, was Jorge Lorenzo last year, in 2015. Before that, it was Wayne Rainey back in 92, won it in the last round, I think. It might have been Schwantz in 93. Either way, we're talking, this is a rarity, and they've got to start working hard there, Yamaha.
Well, anything could happen. This might just be one of those years where the unexpected happens. Stats at this point of the race, I keep going back to stats and stuff, but they often can just be a bit of an insight, perhaps, into what might happen in the towards the end of the season. Did you know, Kiko, that Dovi has no fastest laps this season? And
no. But at the end of the day, the fastest laps should come in qualifying. Fastest laps...
fastest race laps, I mean.
Yeah. Fastest laps don't really count for a lot, though. I think in Moto3, we had Livio Loy was setting the fastest lap. He wasn't the race leader.
It's just an interesting fact, that's all.
Exactly. Dovizioso, though, he's a very good rider at pacing himself. He doesn't want to go and set these fastest laps all the time because he knows his strategy. He sat behind Marquez, didn't go after him straight away when Marquez got ahead of him on Sunday. He took his time, bided his time, and passed him in due course. Now, other riders would have panicked and maybe just gone flying up the inside, and you could have had an accident because they're too desperate. But Dovi's a very cool character. He doesn't need to set these fastest laps just to win a race. Yeah, they're a bonus, but I don't think it's an interesting statistic, and maybe it will come down to a one lap outright pace towards the end of the year, but it's very unlikely because I think Dovizioso actually has that race-long consistency now to take that battle like he did on Sunday to the last lap if needed to do so. Fastest laps aren't everything in race. Across any motorsport.
True, like I said, it's just an interesting indicator, potentially.
Yes.
And I noticed that Vinales has by far the most fastest race laps with Zarco and Folger having 2 each. But still, there you go. I'm more of a stats nerd, to be honest. It might mean nothing. It might mean something.
There we are. Who knows? We shall find out over the course of the next 7 races.
So the championship standings, if you're not aware, in MotoGP, as Kiko alluded to earlier, Marquez is leading on 174 points right now. Dovizioso in second place on 158. 8 points behind them is Vinales in third place. Then it's Rossi on 141. Pedrosa on 139. Zarco in sixth place on 99 points. And the highest place Brit is Cal Crutchlow, doing pretty well in ninth place on 76 points.
Britain's own Cal Crutchlow. He had a bit of a disastrous weekend in Austria, though.
Never heard that before.
No, I don't know. He didn't do tremendously well there last year from memory, and then the next race he went and won. So hopefully, a bit of British glory. He stuck it on pole position, of course, last year at the British Grand Prix. He loves it here, especially now he's on a Honda.
Yeah, I think we should not say a single thing about him, especially you, Kiko, with your magic touch.
I don't know what you're on about, Lester. It's funny. It's a nice little link, that, actually, onto the British Grand Prix. Some news to come out of that.
All right.
Dixon, the Knockhill sensation from British Superbikes, who took the double victory and has been outclassing some people that we really shouldn't... Well, I didn't expect it anyway. He might have. He has been an absolute sensation in British Superbikes this year. Such a talented young kid. And finally, I'm pleased to report he's going to get a chance on the world stage. He's going to be riding, I think it's the Dynavolt Suter, at Silverstone as a wild card. I think he's replacing Danny Kent, who was meant to be replacing Marcel Schrotter, who's injured. So great news there. It was put out by, I think, the BSB guys earlier. Jake Dixon will be on a wildcard performance in Moto2 at the British Grand Prix. He won't be the only one coming in from the British Superbike paddock. I know the city lifting KTMs from Moto3 are going in as well. Jake Archer and Tom Boots Amos. So all good news for British talent. More exposure on the world scene gives them publicity, gives the team publicity, and gives the sponsors publicity. It's exactly what we want. Exactly.
Yeah, certainly is. And it is great news as well. Going back to the Knockhill sensational performance, which seemingly came out of nowhere, that you were raving about the following day on my show.
Unbelievable. And, it's not just been that one-off, though. He's put himself now in a position where he could be in the showdown. He could win it. He could win the British Superbike Championship. And then what a story that would be. What an incredible story that would be. Jake Dixon, along with Bradley Ray, arguably equally the two most talented lads, new talented lads in the British Superbike field. What they're doing this year is absolutely phenomenal. And we're in a brilliant time of British Superbike racing at the moment. Anything can happen, and I'm so happy it is happening, because Jake Dixon and Bradley Ray are the future of that championship.
I get a feeling, Kiko, that you particularly... we'll get back to MotoGP and that thing in a moment. But I get the feeling that you quite like Jake Dixon and Brad Ray. I think you've come in for a bit of online criticism on your Facebook groups. At
the end of the day, though, people underestimate this young talent that's coming in. Shane Byrne was young talent. When he came in, he was the sensation. 2002, he took his first win. He was teammates with Michael Rutter. Everyone's come through that stage. Leon Haslam was raved about just the same. So why can't I do it about Jake Dixon and Bradley Ray? Jake Dixon, right, you've got to understand the kind of injuries that lad went through last year after his massive crash at Alton Park. I remember, I think it was just about a month or so after, or something like that. He was in a car park on crutches and on his... and I think he was on crutches, but he had like a cast on his leg or something. He had his hip. He had something. I think he hurt his hip or something. It was some serious technical term that happened to his hip. Anyway, it's a miracle that he has been able to ride exactly how he is. It's unbelievable. The comeback that he has performed and the wins as well. And it couldn't happen to a nicer team. Likewise for Bradley Ray. You have to remember, this guy's never been on a 1000cc bike before. And speaking to Chandler Warren Gray, the team manager for that team, that was the main objective this year, was to learn how to ride a 1000cc bike on the tracks of Britain, because he rode them all on the Supersport, but you ride a 1000 bike a little bit differently. And what Bradley Ray is doing is a little bit special, I've got to say.
Without sounding too disrespectful, because I do happen to like Brad Ray, and I've met him quite a few times and chatted to him. I think we could probably agree that nobody really, like you said, for him it was more of a bit of a test year for him, and nobody really expected him to do anywhere near as well as he is doing.
I think that's why he's doing so well, because there was no expectation of him. The team said to him, Brad, go out and learn the circuits on a 1000cc bike and do your best. And that pressure, all the pressure at Suzuki is on Gintoli, because he is the world champion of 2014 and he's been brought in to deliver good results. Now, that means that there's no pressure on Bradley Ray. The team have literally said, get on with it and enjoy your first year. And he is enjoying his first year, and an happy rider is a fast rider. And that's proven. He's quick. Top 8s in his first year on a bike that I must say is unproven is phenomenal. However, we'll judge him better next year, because we can see the improvement he's made. Like we're looking at Jake Dixon now. At Thruxton last year, he finished both races out of the points. This year, he finished both races on the podium. That is an incredible achievement. Yeah, albeit it was on a BMW last year. He's on a Kawasaki this year. But the rider has matured. Jake Dixon is a race winner, and he's a championship contender. I really mean that. Jake Dixon could win this championship if he continues to perform like he is.
Maybe I'd say potentially winning the championship. Although, I mean, if you get into the showdown, potentially
the showdown system can work wonders. If Jake Dixon, right, he's a race winner. He's a double race winner. He can win both races if he wants. And as long as the team have set the bike up fine, he can do it. I genuinely believe any one of that top 6 this year could win the championship. And I can't remember the last time that's happened, because you've normally got the top 2 of the series. So last year was Byrne and Haslam. The year before it was Brooks and Byrne, and the year before that was Byrne and Chianari. But this year, it's wildly open. Peter Hickman's in the form of his life at the moment. It's unbelievable what's happening in British Superbikes this year. And the top 6 have all got the same amount of chance into the first round of the showdown. We can judge it a bit better after when we get to Assen, which I will be in attendance for. So, what I'm saying is, this series is so open, and it doesn't matter if you're sixth going into the showdown. You could come out the showdown with a big British Superbike Champions winning trophy.
Potentially, yes. Anyway, we will just park BSB for 1 second, because we were talking, we sort of like, it was like a sidetrack, but we were talking about MotoGP.
We was.
And believe it or not, there is a structure to this show, I think. And so we'll go back to MotoGP and get back to our Brad Ray and Jake Dixon appreciation society later. But yeah, so MotoGP then, the last race at the Red Bull Ring, or A1 Ring, if
Leicester. That is what we want to call it. We're going to go ancient. We're going to call it Zeltweg or the Oostenrijk Ring.
You weren't even born when it was like...
It doesn't matter, Lester. All that matters, right, is that for some reason it's called the Red Bull Ring. But what? That's got no ring. Apart from the Red Bull Ring.
Anyway, right.
That was unintentional.
So, yes.
Talking of the Zeltweg, Oostenrijk Ring, A1 Ring, Red Bull Ring... ridiculous named ring. Moto 2 was a brilliant race.
Well, just before we get onto Moto 2, I did want to ask you about your standout performances in the MotoGP at the Red Bull Ring, and perhaps if we dare, who were your failures?
Right, failures. Vinales and Rossi, factory Yamahas, were beaten by Johan Zarco on a Tech 3 bike that shouldn't really be happening, but they went wrong with the tyres. So they were my failures, to be fair. My commendation, my letter of commendation, definitely goes to Loris Baz, who was 9th, and Alvaro Bautista, who was 8th. Both had a reasonably good weekend. But above all that, Andrea Dovizioso. How can you not agree? How can you not say Andrea Dovizioso was the best rider that weekend? Not just because he won, but his fighting spirit was tremendous.
Well, I never said he wasn't, but...
I'm not. I'm just saying, to some people, they'll say, well, Dovizioso, this and that. He was by far. He beat someone who has become renowned for incredible battling in Marquez. Neither of them gave up, and he beat Marc Marquez. He got one up on him. Brilliant. Ducati got one up on everyone else. Years ago, if you had told me 2 years ago that the Ducati will be in a last lap scrap with Marquez and it will win, I would have said, I'll put my house on and say that's not going to happen. But now, Ducati have come good, and Dovizioso is in the form of his life. By far my standout performance across all classes on the weekend in Austria.
Okay, well, I did ask, and that was nice and concise, unusually so, Kiko. So, as you'd dipped your toe into Moto 2, I suppose we'll just go back there. And we'll mention the winner, I suppose, Morbidelli. Yes,
and another great performance by the Italian. He's come really good this year. And to be fair now, are we looking at the champion? I'd say we are. You know, the points aren't massively different. But Morbidelli, once he's in that rhythm, is very hard to break. You know, it was a great race halfway through on Sunday. Tom Lucci was getting involved. Alex Marquez was getting involved. But Franco Morbidelli just has something about him that makes me think, got to be a champion. He's just got to happen. Or at least he'll go down to the last race. But I genuinely believe he will be Moto2 champion this year. And he's already going up to MotoGP next year. So there's no pressure of having to deliver good results to get a seat for next year. He's got one already. So there is no point in him pushing too hard and throwing it up the street and taking down all the Austrian trees and whatever, when all he needs to do is just ride around. And because he's got that buffer. He had a bit of a slack weekend in Brno, and he's made up for it this weekend. You know, Tom Lucci was right in the hunt. I thought we was going to have a Morbidelli-Lucci showdown like we've seen so many times already over the last 2 or 3 years. But it didn't happen because Lucci made the mistake. And I don't think Franco Morbidelli will make too many of those mistakes. Very uncharacteristic for Thomas Lucci to make a mistake, but he did make a mistake. And now, again, Morbidelli has that breathing space. He has that comfort zone where he doesn't necessarily need to win every race. He can settle for a second if it's his teammate Marquez who's winning. Can't do it for the whole season or the remainder of the season, but he can definitely do it on the odd occasion. We know there's a couple more wins coming. I think Morbidelli will excel in Misano, as I do think the same for Lorenzo Baldassarri, who up to now has had a little bit of a disappointing year, in my opinion. But Morbidelli, I think, is on for a championship this year, and that'll be great for Italy to finally do it in the intermediate class. I think it'll be the first time an Italian has won the intermediate class title since the late, great Marco Simoncelli in 2008. So, we're talking a good 9 years.
Well, the gap between first and second in Moto 2 is just, I think, 26 points at the moment. So, he's got a bit of a buffer there between himself and Luthi. Is Marquez actually out of it now then, Alex Marquez?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Alex is totally out of it. Of course, we come to 2 more Spanish circuits. He will know very well, and he goes well there. And he has championship winning experience, of course. Alex Marquez knows what it takes to win a championship. In 2014, he came from behind to win this championship in the lightweight class in the Moto3 series. So he can do it, but, it's the unnecessary mistakes that are happening for Marquez. So throwing it up the street in Argentina didn't necessarily help his cause to a title. But, at the end of the day, he's still there. I don't think you can discount anyone, but your money has got to be on, at this stage of the series, on Franco Morbidelli.
Okay, I'll put my money on Morbidelli then. Because he, like you say, he does seem to be.
I don't see your returns will be any good because the odds will probably be about 1 to 700. But well, not that, but you know what I mean.
Would you have put money on him at the start of the season?
Yes, I would have, because last year there was them glimpses that he was becoming a matured rider. He was getting it right now. He was in the best team in the paddock, in my opinion. So it's definitely just coming together very, very sweetly at the moment for Franco Morbidelli, and he's got his experience in Moto2, and he's pulling it all together in 2017, and he's looking odds on for a Moto2 World Championship.
Well, I was having a quick flick through the stats, and I was once again noticing a couple of patterns. Not that I'll bore you with Moto2 stats and such. But the standout performances. I was just having a quick look, actually, before we get to that, Kiko. Brits in Moto2. There's only, there was just Taryn McKenzie.
Not looking too bright for a bit, but it's very easy to look at results. You have to consider Taryn. Sorry?
I just did, yeah.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's very easy to look at results and assume, Taryn's having a bad season. Taryn McKenzie came from dominating British Supersport. He didn't have any testing on a Moto2 bike. So the difference between the Supersport and the Moto2 bike is actually quite a lot. And for someone who has never been in the World Championship before on a Moto2 bike, coming halfway through the year, you can't expect loads. I'm fairly sure that had Taryn been on a Moto2 bike, done all the testing and blah, 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 he would have been fine. But he hasn't had that testing. He had a test today. He put a very good tweet out saying he's very happy with everything, and hopefully when they move on to Silverstone, which is a circuit he likes and goes well at, he can pull up a good result. So Taryn McKenzie, I'm not even going to judge what he's doing at the moment in the championship, because you can't. You simply can't just look at the results or where he's in the championship. It's a big, big learning curve, and the competition in that class is extraordinary. So if he's still there next year, which I really hope he is, because he deserves a chance next year, look at him then, because he would have had a half a year under his belt. He would have gone through the testing regimes all over at Jerez in Qatar, and then you'll be able to see his development, and hopefully we'll see some points going rise next year, if not some top 10s and top 5s. I think the other Brit you were going to refer to is Danny Kent, which we all know very controversially left the Kiefer Racing team.
Yeah.
Which is why Taryn McKenzie is there.
What is going on with Danny Kent? I mean, is he just a loose cannon now? Is he?
I don't think he's a loose cannon. He's had a lot of chances.
Yeah, which, to be fair, I mean, very few people have a lot of chances and keep coming back. There's only so. Eventually, he's going to. I don't even know the internal politics of why. He's obviously not got on well with his previous teams and stuff and falling out with, or whatever it was. But eventually you're going to start burning bridges until that's it.
Yeah, I know. And I think Danny Kent will be back for next year. He's on the factory speed up team. So that's great. He's got his future secured. But you've got to wonder how many more teams, if he blows this one, if he blows speed up, by the way, if that ends, I'm fairly sure he's going to struggle. But I don't think he's that bad. His manager, which I think is Reese Edwards or something like that, I think he used to manage Casey Stoner. He needs the biggest bonus ever now that he's got Danny Kent a secured future, because that is an incredible achievement to get someone who has blown out a team after just 3 races. I think it wasn't even that long. You're not riding, and that's a very difficult situation. You are signed a contract with a team, the team that he won the championship with, of course, back in 2015 in the Moto3s. To throw that away, that's alarming. That is really alarming. But he's got his future, so let's stop talking about what happened and start speculating on what will happen. Danny Kent's a very good rider. Will he adapt to Moto2? I'm sure in due course he will. We all doubted Alex Marquez, but Alex Marquez this year is a title contender. So this 2-year deal that's in place will give Danny the confidence to kind of relearn everything in 2018 and hopefully launch a championship challenge in 2019. We know he's got the talent. We know he can do it. It's all about setting up. And like I was saying earlier about, I can't remember who now, I think it was Jake Dixon, about pulling everything together. It's all come together nicely now. Danny needs to do that. He needs to do that in 2019, get the experience going in 2018, get everything sorted, right frame of mind in 2019, and say, we can do it. Because everyone knows he can do it.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's
because he's a champion. He's a world champion. Not many people have got that on a CV. I haven't got it on mine, and you might have it on yours, Lester, don't you?
Oh, I've got it. Yeah, I had mine ages ago.
But Danny has that going for him, and at the end of the day, he's quick, and it's just about exploiting that potential. And I believe it will be exploited. Hopefully next year, and then in 2019, like I say, a proper challenge at the title. And let's hope from there his career restarts and goes forward.
Yeah, it's such a shame and it's such frustration because I mean I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we love Danny Kent and Cool Fab Racing graduate, of course, and up until last year raced in a race with his brother Kieran, I think. I think that's but yeah, but still, I mean Danny's he is a champion, so there's no doubting his talent, and I think it's just a lot of frustration from the fans' side because we want him to sort of settle down, get his head right, if that's the problem, and
just want him to actually say, do you know what, we can do it, and that's all he needs to do. He has thrown away a lot of chances in his career, maybe, and that's not gone well. But like we say, stop talking about that. Let's move forward. Exactly. Can he do well on the speed up? Yeah, of course he can. Can he move on from that? I really hope so. It has to be successful though. It has to be top 10s every weekend in the first year and then podiums. Otherwise he risks being lost in Moto2. So many riders have done that, ended up going to World Superbikes and then not doing well there. Nico Terol being one of them, and he's retired now. That's a world champion as well. That's a 125cc world champion. So Danny just has to really dig in these next couple of years and prove everyone who doubted him wrong. I don't doubt his ability for once.
I've never doubted him.
Exactly. Loads of people have, though, and some people really need to be waking up and thinking, yeah, maybe he's a bit difficult to work with, but he's quick. So let's put that first, and we'll deal with all the backroom shenanigans later on in the day after hopefully Danny Kent has won a race or got on a podium or something. Because at the end of the day, results matter. He's still quick. He just needs to get on a Moto2 bike and believe in himself, I think, more than anything.
Well, with that in mind, we will, before we move on to Moto3, I'll quickly give you the The old SP on the Motos 2 standings, and it is Morbidelli out in front on 207 points at the moment. Luthi in second place on 181 points, and Alex Marquez in third, 153, quite a way back, but possibly could still potentially be in the chance. Miguel Oliveira in fourth place, 133. Everybody else is kind of out of it now. Yeah. There's is it kind of even worth talking about anyone else in Moto 2?
Pacini is going to be a spoiler race winner now. Pacini's worth talking about. He goes well at more or less all the circuits that remain now. Of course, Misano is his home circuit. He lives literally miles away from Misano. He lives on the Adriatic coast in Rimini. So there's definitely possibilities for Pacini to upset the running order. He won't be a championship challenger, though. He might get the top four, but I don't think he's going to nick it off Franco Morbidelli. I will be shocked if he does. I hold my hands up now. I will be absolutely stunned if Mattia Pacini somehow manages to get the championship sewn up. Maybe next year, but not this year. I think he's left it a little bit late.
Well, that's an honest opinion from Kiko. And if you're tuned in live and you have your own opinion, if you think maybe Danny Kent is not what we think he is, and you want to tell us why, then do let us know. Get in touch with us live at Motorsport Radio here, either on our website through the comments section. It's motorsport.radio. That is the domain, motorsport.radio. Nobody else has a .radio yet.
First in Europe, Leicester.
Yay. Small victories. And also it's on Twitter, M-Sport Radio, and on Facebook, Motorsport Radio. But I'm guessing you probably already found us on Facebook because I've already spammed all the relevant bike Facebook groups already. And thank God they've not banned me already. And Kiko, a bit of news about you inheriting the unofficial MCE Insurance British Superbike Facebook group with, 16,500 or almost 17,000 peeps.
I was amazed, really, when I think it was Matthew Betts, the old admin, who messaged me and said, listen, I need someone who needs to give it more time, and he messaged me. I thought, okay, we'll give it a go, and going all right so far. I'm a rookie in the class, I suppose, in the terms of administration, but that's my dealings for 2017. I'm a bit of a journeyman this year. So what sort of admin are you going to be? Because I've been an admin of quite a sizable Facebook group, slightly larger than it's about the same size as the group that you now admin, and it is not easy, and that was just on my based on my local town, basically. Was that your fan club?
It was not my fan club, no. But you can be. Everyone knows the sort of admins that you get. You can either be like an authoritarian North Korean sort of admin where everything has to sort of be vetted and pass through you, or you can just let everyone post whatever, slanderous, libelous. It's still going to be moderated, but if they're going to post a road racing thing, I ain't going to take it down because it's road racing. So as much as it's British Superbike, as long as it has some relevance to VSB, post away. I don't really care, to be fair. Yeah. As long as it's not ridiculous stuff like MotoGP, that belongs in the MotoGP group, which has about 155,000 followers. So post in there. So BSB, as long as it has some sort of relevance, so just post. I don't really know. The official word there from Kiko Alexander Giles: post away, kids, and just don't attack the admin.
But spammers, as in people who continuously try to post rubbish, no. You're an exception. I know you post rubbish, but you are an exception. People who keep posting stuff like World Superbikes, if it's not in Britain...
Oh, that sounds harsh. Well, people posting rubbish like MotoGP and all that.
No, but for Superbikes, I mean, the only one I can accept, right, at the moment, Scott Redding is going to be at Cadwell Park on Sunday.
Oh, is he?
Yes,
Why?
He is. I don't know. I doubt he's replacing any riders. I know he might have had a call up by Paul Bird, but I never said that. I don't think.
Does he live around there?
No, he's from Gloucestershire originally. I don't know where he lives now. I personally don't stalk him like you do, Lester. So you can tell me.
It's called journalism. I'll have you know.
Oh, okay. I thought it was called invasion of privacy myself, but
I don't know. I mean,
I
didn't even know he was going to Cadwell Park. You did, so don't be blaming that on me. That's
when they put it out on social media, you can actually kind of get the gist of things. I don't like look up his address in my phone or whatever. It's like Scott Redding.
He does.
Address.
He does.
Gloucester, bike rider. I just ring up the local pizza delivery and they tell me that.
Yeah. Okay. You can keep deflecting and blame me for all your stalking if you want. But yeah, officially it's called journalism.
Okay.
Yeah. And one thing that before we get onto Moto 3, I wanted to sort of mention as well, because you reminded me of it earlier, or maybe I reminded myself of it earlier, was one incident that you had, Kiko, when you made your commentary debut, and I'm very glad that you made it on Motorsport Radio, covering the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship. If you don't know what this incident was, Kiko, would you like to tell people?
Well, have you got it on you right now?
I may have something lined up. Depending on whether it plays or not, I may have.
Okay.
But I'll just tell you that Kiko was due to make his commentary debut, and with following the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championship, and it was at Tattershall in Lincolnshire.
Yes.
And he did really well with myself on co-commentary, and Dan Marr as well. He was there, also doing commentary as well. And for one particular incident, I forget which class it was. It might have been the Mini GP or Mini Bike. I forget.
I think it was the LC40s.
Okay, well, you've got a better memory than I have. But anyway, and Ollie Walker, one of the young riders who's been doing really fantastic this season in the in that category, was out leading the race. And these what you're about to hear right now is Kiko on commentary.
Oh dear.
And he says something towards the closing stages of this race. I'll just play it anyway. Here it is.
Eddie O'Shea's got a slight gap over Evan Belford so far. Ollie Walker he's still not broken clear. This is going down to the last lap, barring acts of God. Oh, barring acts of God, what a commentator's curse. That is Ollie Walker.
Commentator strikes.
Ollie Walker has dropped out of the lead.
And look how angry he is.
He is furious with that. Barring acts of God, well, I do apologise. Ollie Walker, what have I said? What did I do?
I'll never live it down.
I can only apologise here. I'm in almost
literally.
James
literally.
Cook has got an advantage here, and it's massive.
Do you know the timing? Had I actually tried a little bit better, it still would not have come there.
Literally.
Who was the Sky Sports commentator who retweeted that?
It might have
irrelevant football commentator, but all the same.
Actually, it was Keith Ewan who
he retweeted it. Yeah, and
he tweeted that.
I think, Parrish messaged me about it. Steve Parrish, stab boss. Who, if you see him around, make sure he hasn't got a remote control rat. And I'm going to leave it there because
I did see him recently, but
you did see him at the Silverstone Classic.
Yes, he was there
with his shirt on, with the body.
His weird thing shirt, and he was racing a car and racing a bike as well with Maria Costello, who's in a car race, and she didn't do well. The car had a thing, but anyway, but what was I saying? But yeah, the timing of this is incredible. Literally, this is literally how it happened. It's not been edited. No. It's literally how it happened.
He's still not broken clear. This is going down to the last lap, barring acts of God. Oh, boom! Acts of God, what a commentator's curse. That is Ollie Walker.
And the commentator strikes.
So,
I mean, I know the Walker family are actually probably tuning. Well, I don't know if they're tuning in now, but I know they listen to a lot of our stuff. So I can't remember.
Sorry,
I can't remember the mum say. Is it Karen? Karen and Ian? It might be. I'm so sorry if it's not. Either way, I know they gave me quite a bit of stick, and actually he's been doing all right since I've stayed away. It's just a shame that I'm going to be there at Donington Park as well. So
yes, he's coming back, kids. Kiko,
on
his way back. So. That was Kiko's first ever. You'll see that when Kiko's a famous commentator in BSB or MotoGP in a few years. That will be do you remember the first time when he ever appeared on TV? That will be that clip.
If I ever get famous enough to have an autobiography or probably some Kindle version by then, because by the time we reach 2050, I suppose books won't exist anymore. but it's going to be called Bar and Acts of God.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. So this is the Superbike Show on Motorsport Radio. My name is Lester, co-hosting with Kiko Alexander Giles, who is here for every show, and he'll be telling us a bit about what's going on in Moto 3 next, and also BSB. You are more than welcome to get in touch with us right now and leave us a message.
Tweet me away. I've got my phone right here, so it's on site. Let's carry on tweeting.
What's your Twitter, Kiko?
At MotoGP Kiko is the Twitter handle that you need for that, and you can keep up with all my articles on
articles
online. Yes, all my journalisms, as you like to call them, Lester. Got tea there, or was it Orlicks?
It is coffee, actually.
Okay.
Slightly cold, but
I'm a more Galaxy hot chocolate person myself, but I'll stick to my watch now. But yeah. Picker Online is where you need to be for my stuff, or you can just follow me directly on Facebook, Twitter, Kiko Giles. There's not many of us, so it should be quite easy to find.
Exactly, yeah, and his group's only 20,000 strong, so it's only a couple of people. But yes, you're more than welcome to get in touch, even if we're not live. If you're watching this later in the week, and you've somehow come to the conclusion that Kiko's wrong about something, you're more than welcome to.
I could imagine how you'd come to that conclusion. I just don't understand it myself.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to chime in and correct Kiko, because we do love a good debate here. It's not all about.
I know. I caused controversy last week with some of my opinions about McCann's Yamaha. So just tweet away. I don't want to cause too much aggravation, but opinions. Are we at 9 o'clock? No, I can't say it. Opinions. Everyone's got one, haven't they? So you just crack on with that.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
The watershed is in 9 minutes. Talking of watershed, I don't know if he's actually tuning in. Tony Morris wants to come on our show next week.
Right.
Josh Brooks' personal manager, so he wants to come on our show. I'm waiting for the message now with bold capital letters. No, I didn't really mean it, kind of thing. But, I'm sure he'll be an entertaining character, but we'll have to have him on after 9 o'clock.
Didn't Josh want to come on himself?
I haven't spoke to Josh about that, actually. I'm going to try and get a bit some stuff done for my site, and we'll see where we go.
I'll tell you what, then, why don't you both come on if you're listening to this? Then you're both more than welcome. In fact, anybody's more than welcome to come on.
Josh Brooks, I've got to say, has got the small matter of getting into the British Superbike Showdown to deal with, so that might have to be put off for another day. But we will get him on at some point. I'll try my best.
Well, when he does, after Cadwell, perhaps, we can have a chat to him next week on the show, perhaps, and talk to him about it.
Exactly. Or I could get an interview done and then, send it in. Have a bit of pre-recorded stuff. No harm in that. You can get
potentially
old bleep machine out. Maybe get him and Alicia Spargo on, actually. I know they're best of friends. If you haven't been on Twitter lately, you'll know exactly what I'm on about.
So they're not best of friends?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Okay.
But we'll save that for another day, because we're going to talk Moto 3 now.
Yes, eventually.
Joan Mir just dominated that Austrian Grand Prix. He won his first ever race there last year, so we'd be mugs if we doubted his ability to do the same. This year, he didn't just do the same. He walked it. He walked off with the Austrian Grand Prix. It was incredible. It was a brilliant performance. It was a bung fight for second place. I can't actually remember. We've got second now. That's embarrassing.
It was Philip
Ertel.
Ertel. Yeah.
Philip Ertel. Oh, I'm having a few fly problems here. Sorry, excuse me while I just flick them out of the way. Philip Ertel was second, and Livio Loy, I believe, was third. So Belgium's first podium.
Might have been Martin.
Jorge Martin. Yes, Jorge Martin. That is actually a stellar performance. He broke his leg, I think he broke his tib and fib in Germany, which was 6 weeks ago, and he's back on a podium. The bloke couldn't hardly walk. He was crying in the press conference. That's how moving it actually was, and it was very good to see Jorge Martin not back to full fitness, but back on a podium. He just won't give up. I think Livio Loy might have been fourth then in the end. Am I right?
I believe he, yes. Fourth place, according to MotoGP.com, yes.
Okay, yeah, I know, because he actually, I think that's his best result of the year. He's had a bit of a tricky time in Moto3 of recent. So yeah, he's dug deep there, and Leopard Hondas in the top four too. In the top four, stunning stuff for them.
Absolutely, yes. And just been having a quick browse on the old results once again, because as I said earlier, I'm a bit of a results sort of person. But how do you say Philip's name? Is it Ertel?
Hurtle.
We'll just call him Philip.
A bit like turtle, but without the T.
Eutel. The way I suppose it's German, Eutel. And that's how I imagine all Germans pronounce their name.
Whatever you want to do.
I mean, if I was German, I'd be Lester Forbes.
Forbes. Or
Forbes.
would that be Spanish?
Yeah, something. I don't know.
You called Leicester, would you, if you was in Germany?
That's a strong German name. I don't know. No idea.
I thought Leicester was in the East Midlands myself, but whatever you want.
So what happened to John McPhee in MotoGP?
John McPhee had such a good weekend up until Bo Ben Schneider, the tall Dutchman, wiped him out down at turn one. No malice in it or anything. John was obviously frustrated. But yeah, that was just a shame, really. Got taken out down at turn one by Bo, who in turn was actually having quite a good weekend himself. He was up the front. He actually led a bit of the race. It was the team's home race as well. The Red Bull KTM guys, Austria, they're absolute safe house, if you like. You'd expect them to go well there. Yeah, pretty stunning stuff, really, apart from John McPhee's unfortunate trip up to the runoff of turn one. You asked me about, that's just actually reminded me of something. You asked me about my rider of the day earlier.
Oh, I forgot.
Yes, I forgot to mention Mickey Gallio.
Oh, okay.
What an incredible performance. He wants the full-time return to MotoGP. He said coming into this round and coming into all the other wild cards that he was not here to just run around at the back. He was here to beat Paul Espargaro and Bradley Smith. He did just that at the weekend. 10th. I think that's KTM's best result this year. I might be wrong on that. I'm fairly sure, though, that's their first top 10. Fantastic. He's put himself right in the shop window for next year now. Not just with KTM, because I think they're signed up anyway, but with other teams. Mickey Gallio could effectively be back on the MotoGP grid. He hasn't been there for 7 years, I think. So it'd be great to have Finland back in MotoGP in rider terms, because we're going to Finland anyway. 2019, Dorna announced that Finland, the Kimi Ring, I think it's going to be called.
The Kimi Ring?
No relation to Raikkonen, because they've spelt it the KYMI, so they spelled it actually a little bit differently. But yeah, they're calling it the Kimi Ring.
It's an unfortunate name, I think, because... Anyway.
Why is that?
Nothing. Carry on.
It could have been called Rimming Ring, and I'm a bit pre-watershed, but it doesn't matter. So, at the end of the day, Kimi Ring, we're going to be on. Finland is on the calendar 2019, and let's get a couple of Finns up there. It's going to be great. It's got another market, and it's another circuit. We're going to be looking at 20, maybe more races on the calendar. It gets better and better for MotoGP, because Thailand looks like it's almost certainly going to be coming on maybe towards the back end of next year, because the test dates have been released, and Thailand, the Buriram circuit in the centre of the country, has actually been put on as a test. So good stuff all round, really. Thailand's getting the exposure it deserves. Very successful World Superbikes. It'll be 10 times as good for MotoGP, I'm fairly sure, where the fan base of MotoGP already carries. Thailand's going to be on the calendar, and it's going to be an absolute belter.
I saw a couple of articles a week or so ago, I think, regarding the what we all knew to be was never going to happen, the Circuit of Wales, and the contracts that I think lies with it, or Donington or Silverstone. I don't know who has the contract with British.
I think it's
Silverstone, but didn't they lease it out to sort of sublet it out to it? Bloody complicated anyway.
Yeah, I think it was more the fact that Silverstone get it for this year, next year, and then the Circuit of Wales take it back, and they were going to run with it. But that's not obviously going to happen now. So the contract, I believe, will go to Silverstone because they can already accommodate it. However.
Is there a danger, like in Formula One, that in theory there won't even be a British Grand Prix?
There is that theory. However, and speaking to Michael Howarth about this, the former Superbike star turned commentator, trackside for British Superbikes, I don't think that will happen, because we're now coming to the stage where Silverstone could already host it anyway. So unless they're getting rid of Formula One from Silverstone, so they need at least one round.
So they'd have the money in theory.
They'd have no choice but to take it, because taking
not
some.
necessarily.
Well, what else? What other championship is as big?
I know what you're saying. In theory, but they'll, in theory, if, and I'm going to presume that they will keep Formula One, because it's probably a negotiation tactic. But obviously, they need to save a bit of money, because they're hemorrhaging a lot of money, I would imagine, on the Formula One side of things. So if, let's say, two scenarios happen, if they don't have Formula One in whatever it is, 2019, that means they'll save a bunch of money for other things, and they will probably secure the MotoGP contract for.
I mean, it's just been confirmed lately that MSVR have taken over Donington Park.
Yeah, that's gone through and been confirmed. I think it will actually. They will
pump money in to make it fit for purpose for MotoGP.
I think that's what is most likely to happen.
It's a big but. Can Donington Park sustain what is now the MotoGP paddock? Because years and years ago, you never had hospitality suites for the teams in Moto2 and Moto3.
Yeah,
so
but
you've got to find space. I personally, as a fan, would love to see it at Donington Park. I can't stand Silverstone. I know the riders like it. I don't. It's a shambles for viewing, personally, which is why I won't be in attendance this year, because there's just no point in paying £70 for a ticket and all you can see is three corners at the best part, or maybe Magus Beckett's Chapel. But, Donington Park is a circuit. It's more or less in the middle of the country. The problem is accessibility to get there.
I don't think it is a problem, to be honest, because it, like you said, it is literally in the middle. It's just as accessible.
What I mean by accessibility is, yes, it's not far off the motorway, but the problem is the slip roads coming out. It took me 2 hours to get out to the park for the British Superbikes. What's it going to be like?
You're going to encounter with any big event. You're
encounter traffic, but limit the traffic where you can. Because people will just think
any big event.
Before.
I mean, everybody knows that. Like I said, if you go to any big event, you're gonna have a bit of traffic frustration. It just comes with, but that kind of adds to the
atmosphere. The atmosphere. Really. You've got to find a B&B late at night. You've got two screaming kids, and your wife wants to go for a meal at an Italian restaurant. You want to drink red wine. You want to have a pint at John Smith's, and you can't find a bar that's open. The restaurant that you was going to go to is just closed. There's no rooms at the hotel, and you've all got to sleep in a car. But again, like you say, that
you make it sound like it's not,
Or just do it the easy way and go to a circuit that's actually got decent facilities on the exits and just go there.
So you do want it to go to Silverstone then? I don't understand what you're getting at.
No, what I want as a fan is for it to go to Donington Park. I believe Donington Park is a better circuit.
So if MSV, and I'm sure they could do this because there's already been a lot of investment in the surrounding areas, and I'm not sure if the previous owner or the current people who had it or own it have bought up, but they've put a lot of investment into it. They've done it up to a nice enough point, but I mean, with MSV, I do believe personally that they could come in and cause a big upset in Formula One and also MotoGP. That seems to be the big threat to Silverstone now. Not for so many years, Silverstone has been the only proper international facility with the correct international facilities.
Yeah, I mean, if I had it my way, I'd be taking down a Brands Hatch, but that's never going to happen anymore. You'd have to polish the housing estate opposite Hawthorns for that to happen. Another one for me would be Thruxton, but that's never going to happen because the circuit's not long enough. And there's the safety aspect as well. There's only two circuits. You could make Brands Hatch safe, I suppose, but you'd have to be pumping millions in. It never happened. It's just never going to happen. Realistically, Donington Park and Silverstone are the only two. I believe it'll stay at Silverstone. Donington
probably might be.
Yeah, Donington might challenge it, but I can't see going anywhere else but Silverstone. One thing that we can confirm, Leicester, and we can agree on, it won't be going to Circuit Wales.
I always knew that. I was like the one person who always was when everyone was getting all hyped up about Circuit Wales. No, it's not.
Do you know what?
It's total BS.
I know you said never to mention it again last week, but Brexit didn't help that. And I'm not saying that I'm pro-EU or anti-EU, but it didn't help from a business point of view, I don't think. You know, the same as Brexit might not help the Superbike world, according to one Steve Parish. So, you know, I just personally think that Brexit it was kind of the final nail in the coffin. It was never going to happen anyway, but once Brexit happened, I just personally couldn't see it ever kicking off. So, you know, I don't know. The Circuit Wales is dead as a dodo, I think they say.
Did Brexit put the kibosh on the Circuit of Wales? Do you agree with Kiko? Then let us know.
It was done before that, but Brexit definitely did not help. I don't think so.
Do let us know if you agree or disagree. Either way, and please let's not talk too much about politics. That isn't directly motorsport related. Incidentally, hello to Hussein Gadar. If that's sorry.
One of my Lebanese friends. Yes, hello Hussein. I don't know whether he'll be in Lebanon now or in Kuwait. I know he's a busy lad. He gets around quite a bit, but yeah. Nice to see him. Anyone else tuning in?
There was, I don't know if Chaka Anderson or Chaka Anderson's still tuned in, but hello either way. And Stuart Everard as well.
Yes, big Stuarts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
there's been news coming out of that team, actually. Everquick Racing, they are turning their livery, possibly, fully orange, I believe, for Cadbury Park. I'm not actually sure why. They are Everquick. The team is sponsored by themselves, so to speak. So, Everquick are their sponsors. That's in orange, so they're turning a bit more orange, I think. So, Great stuff from them, which fits in very nicely with my trip to Assen because they are being very kind and taking me there. So, very much thank you to the Everard family there, Stuart and Andrea, and I know I sponged off them a little bit last time, and I really didn't want to do that. Food was bang on, so I'm going to bring some stuff this weekend. I know Carl, Chris, likes tiger bread, so we're going to get some tiger bread on the go. We're also going to bring a bit of black pudding, because everyone likes black pudding. It should be your Sunday go-to meal, Leicester. We've had this conversation before.
No.
We're going to bring some bacon as well, and we're going to have a good...
This is more contentious than Brexit.
At the end of the day, Leicester, everyone knows black pudding is the best, and that's all we need to know.
Yeah,
you know?
For a heart attack.
Yeah, but if you're going to go one way, you want to go having a heart attack because of black pudding, really, don't you?
No.
I know it's not good for gastric bands, but, scrub round that bit, Leicester. Let's get away from that bit.
Yeah.
So big shout out to the Everquick lads, all great. Bjorn Espen and Joe Bolton were in Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix last weekend. The weekend just gone even. So the food's bang on. I know they've got a big hospitality thing coming down. They've got a coachload of people. They run out of Hornsey on the beautiful Holderness coast north of Hull. Or is it south of Hull? Oh, I get confused. It's somewhere in the north anyway. And yeah, they're going to be coming down. They've got a big following. It's not one of Bjorn's favourite circuits, but could definitely get a top 10, I believe. The team very well run. The bike's a former Martrain bike. From a couple of years ago, like great pedigree, and the team has got a bit of experience now in British Superbike. So, it's going to be a very fun weekend again, I think. None of us went out drinking on the Friday night, so that was all good. And we all woke up perfectly healthy on the Saturday morning. But
so you all absolutely got smashed.
I'm saying nothing less.
Didn't you say that you came on my show on the Monday and you felt rough as anything?
Well, you can say we're past the watershed. No, that's more because I have a cold, and I had a cold, and I still do have a cold.
And that was your cough medicine, and your cold medicine that you're taking.
Literally stay off Lebanese arak. You just don't want it. You don't want it straight. Ask Danielle, the body girl for the team. Don't take it. I swear to God, it's not good. 70% anyway. After 50% stuff if you have to, but don't have the 70% stuff.
Kiko's top tips on Lebanese drinks there.
Yes, Lebanese liqueurs. I'm your man. Get in touch on Twitter. It's going to be at Lebanese Arak Giles. I think I'm going to change my handle to now.
Right, okay.
I know the Everquick guys, they will be there, and they're going to give me a new name probably this weekend, because I don't think I've got them on me at the moment. No, I haven't got them on me at the moment. When I had my glasses on, they called me the Emoji Man, or Stuart did.
Emoji Man.
So apparently I look like the emoji guy who wears the glasses. So now they give me James Goff, one of the brilliant cooks for the team, gives me a new name every weekend.
I think I might have footage of you with your glasses on. I think.
Oh no!
Anyway,
you got it on you now.
Not quite. I might find it before the end of the show. Just moving somewhat on to a comment that flooded in. Hello to Dean Owen, who's tuned in. Hello, Dean. Dean was asking on the Facebook live stream, does Snetterton still have a 24-hour licence? Could that be a GP possibility? It has good access roads, says Dean. Well,
sorry, excuse me. I'm just going to rot away in my bedroom. Keep talking for a minute.
I can tell you though, Dean, that Snetterton, in terms of, I don't know, I doubt it would be different for bikes, but Snetterton does have a 24-hour event, coincidentally, this weekend, because I'll be commentating on the 24-hour of Snetterton in 2CV racing. So,
is that thing this weekend? Is Dan Marr on it?
Dan is not going to be here, but he was commentating on the event last year. But it is a 24-hour event, and it's back at Snetterton. So they, I presume, do have a license for cars anyway. Don't see why that would be any different for bikes. And why not? Snetterton, could that really be a genuine GP possibility? I don't think so, because it's boring. I said it.
The facilities there are very good. Pit garages are fine.
But it's a boring track.
It's a little bit tight, really, isn't it? You're talking runoff, and I'm not sure MotoGP would be able to go there.
It's a decent BSB track. It's not even the best BSB track.
I like Snetterton, I really do. I think it's
I've nothing against it. It is a good track, but it's not the best.
MotoGP standards, I'm not sure. I don't know. It's a brilliant superbike.
In terms of a list of tracks, I'd say I put Snetterton probably
mid-table.
Yeah.
Mid to top table. It depends on the way goals really, doesn't it, really, I suppose.
But to answer your question, Dean, it's not a genuine possibility for the British Grand Prix.
Not yet, anyway. They've just redone it, though, so I doubt it will be in the near future.
Yeah. Although, like you say, it does have good facilities, so... are you okay now, Kiko? Do you need a drink?
No, I've run out now, so there's no point me trying. So I just carry on, and I'll die away slowly.
I will carry on, but I kind of need you to talk bikes with me. Have we done with the Moto 3? Was there anything else that you wanted to mention about Moto 3?
3 news is all more or less done now, so yeah, I think we should move on. And we got some good BSB stuff to get out, really, and I'm looking at my sheet of paper and notes now. It's the showdown time. We're closing into the show. Poxy Fly's got on my way again.
I think you've just been paranoid. There's nothing there, folks. BSB. And what's the biggest news then coming out of the BSB paddock? I've been hearing rumours that maybe Haslam might be making the switch next year. Is that even worth talking about?
Well, there's loads of rumours going out at the moment with regards to Leon Haslam. Some people saying he signed already for JG Speedfit. I'm not so sure on that. Some others saying that he signed for Pagetti Kawasaki over in World Superbikes.
Why would he go to Worlds, though?
I don't know. I really don't know. I know he wants to be back in Worlds, but I think speculation is very dangerous at this point in the season. Very early doors.
People are speculating, so
exactly. There's rumours flying around everywhere. I haven't had any confirmation. I've heard loads of different rumours saying he's going to be here, he's going to be there. He definitely. I'm 99.9% sure he's going to be on a Kawasaki of some description. But yeah, that's. I don't know. I mean, I like him staying well in British Superbikes. I think he can win a championship, and it'd be great to see him win a championship. But some people saying he wants to go World Superbikes. He had a very successful wild card over in World Superbikes at Donington Park. So who knows? I really don't know. Leon Haslam's an enigma to me. I don't know. I don't know. All I do know is he goes very well at Cadwell Park. I'm just going to count his wins. He has won 5 times, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times for Leon Haslam at Cadwell Park. He's Mr. Cadwell of the current crop, along with Josh Brooks as well. So, now Leon Haslam, I don't know. Come back to me on that one, I think.
Okay. I literally have no clue. I have less of a clue than Kiko. But personally, I would like him to stay at JG Speedfit because they're a bunch of great guys.
Very good guys indeed.
And
Pete
Dale.
Evans runs an extremely good team. Speak to Pete.
And we're not just saying that because Dale slagged off Kiko the other day.
Yeah, that's reported anyway. Yeah, apparently Dale said something to me. Lester, you've thrown me right under the bus. Yeah, reports coming from certain people saying that I was a know-nothing retard or something, but I'm not too bothered about that. No, really, really well run. Really, really well-run team. We'll get there in a minute. Who you've got to say looked odds on for the championship. I'm not so sure they're odds on now. They'd still win the championship. You can't write them off. I've got to say one thing. Best of luck to Luke Mossey. Really, I know he had that big crash in Thruxton. I was in the grandstand or on the banking when it happened. And
what's the latest on Luke?
He's been in the hyperbaric chambers, apparently, and that's not a posh pub or anything. That's a unit where I don't know what it does. I've never been in one.
I think
myself.
it's a pressurised. You basically sit in it, and it's a hyper pressure something or other. I've never been in it either.
No, I've never been in one. I don't really want to be in one either because everyone who goes in one seems to have had some sort of bad injury.
But it's different from the cold. Some athletes as well. They like go in a super fridge or something like that, don't they? And that sort of helps.
Is it freezer as well? Do you know? Can you put me in touch with these super fridge people?
It apparently helps for like muscle tissue or basically to makes you get you back to full fitness quicker after an event.
I'm not sure. The latest on Luke Mossey anyway is. I don't know if he's going to be at Cadwell. There's been no update. I know he's working.
Although
really
we do know someone else who's going to be at Cadwell that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, Mr. Scott Redding, but I very much doubt he's going to be replacing Luke Mossey this week. But maybe Johnny Ray or Tom Sykes will fancy a run out. I doubt it, though. We're being a bit desperate there. But no, Luke Mossey, I really hope he comes back because he's worked really hard this year. He deserves to be in the showdown more than anyone. I think he really has put a great season together. Up until that unfortunate qualifying accident at Thruxton. Unfortunately, Thruxton's not the most forgiving of circuits all the time, and hopefully Luke will be back for Silverstone, but he sits very precariously in the championship at the moment if he is not at Cadwell, and Cadwell's not a great circuit to come back at. It's very physically demanding. And
plus as well, we don't know. We presume if he does come back, he'll be in. Will he be in the best shape? I hope he will be, but that's never a guarantee.
The best shape he's ever been in, but if he can ride and if he knows he's got to get results, I'm fairly sure Luke will. He's a very talented rider, one of Britain's best young prospects. We was going on about Jake Dixon and Bradley Ray earlier. Luke Mossey is an example of someone who has come up through the ranks, one in 125s, one in Stock 6, I think, and one in Super Sport. Come up and he's one of the sensations of British Superbikes across the whole paddock, and it's very sad that he's injured, and no one wants that for anybody. We all want a very, very healthy championship, and let's hope that Luke is back. If not at Cadwell, definitely at Silverstone.
Certainly, yeah, and we'd extend those same thoughts as well from everybody here at Motorsport Radio. Yeah. And get back on your bike soon, Luke. And
let's really hope so.
Yeah, we'll of course keep you up to date with any of the latest rumours about any.
I know one person who definitely won't be there is Billy McConnell. Unfortunately, Billy had a bit of an accident at Thruxton in race 1, put himself out. He won't be there. I'm almost certain he won't be there, and it will probably be James Vespoli on that bike. That's not confirmed. That's speculation because he is simply the stock 1000 rider for that team. Again, Billy McConnell's a race winner around Cadwell Park. He got his first British Superbike podium at Cadwell Park, so he knows his way around there. And it's a big shame that Billy's not there. He's a very, very top class rider, and it's just such a shame that we're in the part of the season now that really matters as well. You can't afford to be having these injuries because it's coming thick and fast. It really is. Silverstone's 3 weeks after Cadwell, but after that it's straight to Alton Park the next weekend, 2 weeks off to Assen, and then 2 weeks later it's the big showdown finale at Brands Hatch. So it's very difficult to come from an injury of Luke Mossey's situation because he's a showdown contender. Billy McConnell won't be in the showdown this year. It's more or less confirmed, mathematically confirmed, I think, more than anything.
Just to mention about Mossy, I've been reading some things from I think, what website is that? I'm not going to credit them because they might make me look stupid if they're wrong. But there's been at least one website where I've seen where apparently Luke will be, he's supposedly being racing against the clock to come back in time for Cadwell. I don't see that happening, to be perfectly honest. I'd love it if it did, but what was it? A broken L2 vertebra and a badly bruised ankle, which is
not what you need. Not what you need around any British Superbike circuit, let alone Cadwell Park. It's so physically demanding.
Yeah. So,
he says he's getting better every day. I'm reading it on Twitter now. He's getting better every day. I really hope he's back. I really do. One of the best riders, one of the best people in the paddock as well. As you know, he's commentated alongside Tom Brooks, of course.
Yes, he's commentated on a couple of races here on Motorsport Radio, and he popped into the Cool Fab Racing British Minibikes Championship paddock earlier this season at Red Lodge, and again was co-commentating on a couple of races there, and he's always a fantastic presence in any bike community. I wouldn't put it past him if he does pop in again, maybe next year potentially, to actually go racing on another mini bike, because that's happened in the past, most notably last year, where he had a showdown with one of the kids. And I've forgot the name, which is rather embarrassing. But it was a big showdown, and it was him versus Luke Mossy, and it was on Eurosport and stuff. So that was good. That happened.
Okay.
And,
British Superbikes, the showdown is coming in now. It is the tidal wave of crucial results, really, and you can't really afford to have an accident or poor results. We're coming to Cadwell Park, notorious for back markers, of course. So this is a little bit of a lottery this weekend. Peter Hickman is coming into the Cadwell Park meeting after a spectacular Ulster Grand Prix. 4 race wins and a second. That is just incredible from Peter Hickman. And of course, he's won around Cadwell Park as well. He's had podiums here in 2015 and 2016.
Yeah, he's no slouch.
He's no slouch around Louth. That's what we can say about him. The Cadwell Park, just up the road from Louth, and he's definitely going to be there. Definitely, without doubt. Peter Hickman's in there. Jason O'Halloran's another one. Jason O'Halloran, double podium last year, top rider. Josh Brooks is going to be there, and Neil Nasdam's going to be there. The question mark is Shane Byrne has won twice, which is, I think, one of his worst circuits on the calendar. And the other question mark, for the right reasons, though, is Jake Dixon. Struggled a little bit last year here at Cadwell Park, but this year he's reinvented himself. It's an unbelievable seeing what we're seeing this year. He could definitely be up there. If Jake Dixon could be in the showdown, like we were saying earlier, there's absolutely no question about that. Bradley Ray did the double in the Supersport Championship here last year. Let me just check. Yes, he did. And did he win anything else around there? No, I don't think so, no. Bradley Ray goes well around there. Again, he's got to adapt to the Superbike round now. I know he's going to do that because I speak to him quite a lot. I speak to Chandler quite a lot, his team manager. He's going to be there. He's going to be there or thereabouts. It's going to be a real lottery. Christian Iden is another one. He's in the hunt, and hopefully James Ellison can be up there. I know the McCann's team have struggled. James Ellison has won here once before in 2009, but that was also on the Yamaha. So let's hope this year James Ellison can finally have a bit of luck, because he's in for it, I think.
One person who I've been keeping my eye on anyway, and someone who's spoken out recently, I think this week, might have been over the weekend, was the Aussie O'Halloran, and he said he's targeting a win at Cadwell this weekend. It's on his bucket list, apparently. It's he apparently lives about 20 minutes down the road from Cadwell, and he was quoted on the BSB website as saying that for him, it's podium points are important, but he wants wins. Basically, he wants to win at Cadwell. Can he do it?
Without doubt, yeah.
Will he do it?
Yeah. Tell me, I'll get back to you on that after around 5:05 on Sunday night. No, Jason Allen can definitely win it. He can definitely be up there. Goes very well around Cadwell Parks. Let's not forget that. He wasn't at the 2015 meeting because he broke his leg very badly at Thruxton. But last year he rode the Superbike runner for the first time and rode it very well. You know, he was definitely in the mix. He was there and got double podium. So Jason Allen could consolidate his showdown position this weekend. They all could. If the top six can get away, you know, it could leave Jake Dixon and Christian Didden not desperate for a good result, but certainly needing a good result. You know, they wouldn't be able to afford a crash or anything, you know, so the top six could make it or break it this weekend. And, you know, my money's on Hickman and O'Halloran. You know, I've had £10 with Tony Morris, who's probably tuning in right now. I know what he's like. He likes to tune in. I've had £10 with him to beat Hickman. We'll do the double, and he reckons it'll be Burnham Brooks. So we shall see after the races on Sunday.
I think you're going to have no money left at the end of the season, Kiko, to be honest.
Well, hopefully I'll be up, actually. I reckon I've got a good chance. My predictions aren't normally too far wrong, but normally wrong nonetheless. So, you know, we'll see where we go.
But yeah, we should keep maybe a Motorsport Radio predictions league or something. Maybe something that you can get.
We don't want anything on record. We don't want anything on record.
Yeah, I think we do. We want everything on record, and we will pour over everyone's shocking predictions.
Some other news to get out, if you don't mind me getting on with the show, Lester.
Go on then. What else is on the horizon? What should we be paying attention to?
British Supersport, actually. Dave Tyson is looking and working very, very hard on 2018. He is running Jack Kennedy in the British Supersport and has been doing exceptionally well considering what happened to his bikes. The bikes all got stolen, or parts of the bikes got stolen. So he's had a lot of dramas to deal with in 2017. But no, they're working really hard to put together a solid package, and they want to come back big time in 2018. So let's hope that can happen. Other news, Alan Carter. If you don't know who that is, literally you don't know motorcycle racing, I'm afraid to say. Alan Carter, youngest Grand Prix winner at one point in 1983 after the French Grand Prix, is going to be at taking part in a Pro-Am race. So keep your eye out for that. That is the second part to that. The first part was in Knock Hill. So the second part of the Pro-Am is there, and Carter's going to be in it. I'm not sure who else is in it. I haven't actually took a proper look yet. Alan also helps Ryan Vickers out a lot. So the lad who rode the pit bikes in your forte, Leicester.
Yes.
He's in the National Superstock 600s, and Alan Carter has mentioned him, and it's going very well so far. For his first year, Ryan Vickers is doing a tremendous job, and I know how much that means too. Paul is his dad and Kerry his mother. They are really working so hard, and people sometimes forget just how much effort, both time-wise and financially, goes into motorcycle racing. It is a tough sport if you are not factory supported. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Ryan's definitely got bags of talent, and, you know, I know Paul said to me that he feels like he's holding him back. I'm sorry, Paul, and I know you might be watching this, but I totally disagree. You know, Ryan is a fantastic rider, and you guys are doing the best you can. You can't always do absolutely everything, and people need to understand that in motorcycle racing. This isn't a sport where everyone gets paid. You know, don't assume this is like their jobs. This is not always how it works. You know, some people have to go to work to actually support their bike racing. You know, it's not all rich kids. You know, some of them that's the reason we have the British Talent Cup, so we don't have parents putting everything on credit cards and remortgaging their houses and borrowing money. You know, and that's not what racing should be about. You should be able to enjoy your racing. And, you know, I know Ryan definitely is enjoying his racing, and I know that his parents are doing absolutely everything to help him along, and they're doing a fantastic job. And all the best to Paul, who was third in the World Wheelie Championships a few years ago. So, you know, the man's not just...
in the World what?
Wheelie Championships.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know, I don't know who won it. I mean, this was the first time I met Ryan back at Knock Hill, actually. So, yeah, I mean... It's a great sort of achievement to have.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't even know there was a World Wheelie Championship.
Well, Paul Vickers was third in the World Wheelie Championships.
Well, there you go.
Unbelievable. I didn't know that myself until Ryan told me. But no, a great group of guys down there, and I know that he's getting support from loads of both fan-wise. His fan base is growing. He's only 18, let's not forget. Ryan it's his first year in the National Superstock 600s, and he's ninth in the championship. He crashed out of a podium place at Snetterton. So the guy has got talent, and the team all work really hard to support him.
Want to quickly move on to the Superstock 1000 Championship. What's the big news on that? What do we know, Kiko? Have you heard about any potential comings or anything?
Actually, it's a little bit dry in the National Superstock 1000. All I know is Danny Buchan and Richard Cooper are going at it again. Danny Buchan was third in the second race at Thruxton. Richard Cooper won it ahead of Adam Jenkinson, but Danny Buchan won the first race from Richard Cooper. So the gap is slowly but surely coming down. Definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest, support series to British Superbikes. It might actually be level with BSB itself. There's so much talent in there, so much British Superbike experience in that series. Danny Buchan, Richard Cooper, Adam Jenkinson, Michael Rutter, Hutchie when he's fit. Such a shame he's not. And you got young guns like Chrissy Rouse for Mission Racing on the BMWs.
James Rispoli as well.
James Rispoli was in British Superbikes last year for the Anvil Hire Tag Yamaha team. So, there's loads and loads of talent in that series. And, people sometimes understand it's like, the show is not all about British Superbikes. There are other support classes, and actually, National Superstock 1000 is one of the most intriguing ones. So, Danny Buchan and Richard Cooper going head to head, and apart from that, there's it's not even a gap. I think it's more a chasm all the way back to, I think it's Michael Rutter in third place.
Yeah.
So, I think National Superstock 1000 is by no means done and dusted just yet. Brands Hatch, though, end of the year, there'll be fireworks.
I imagine there might be, yes, at Brands Hatch, and it is possibly, Brands is possibly the one of the world's finest, greatest, most magical tracks for having an end of season showdown, and that's literally why every British Championship has their end of season at Brands Hatch.
It's been proven before, 2011, I don't even need to say this to probably 99% people watching. Tommy and John Hopkins, it was every single corner they were passing at. It was an unbelievable sight. And only Brands Hatch can do that. It's a very unique atmosphere, Brands Hatch, and you have to go there, book your tickets, get your camping done, erect your tent, and you're fine. Get to Brands Hatch for the end of the year. Packed out, it's going to be a great atmosphere, I can guarantee you.
Talking about camping, on the British Superbike, Your Superbike Facebook group, other Facebook groups are available, and hello if you found us via those. But I forget who it was now, but I bookmarked it. Someone was asking about camping at one of the at Cadwell. Has anybody ever been camping? And Kiko may not have been camping. We don't know. I'll ask him in a moment. Thoughts on camping? Do we know which is the best track for camping, which has the best facilities and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I just don't know. I wouldn't be able to say. I ain't got any experience to say what circuit's the best for camping. I know Thruxton's very good if you want to drink later tonight because the bar's open and the DJ keeps playing a little bit later than he should, but I don't know, as long as you've got a bed, or, well, not a bed, but a sleeping bag or some description, who cares where you are? Thruxton was cheap, I think. I think it was £6. I'm not sure. I think it was £6. But again, I think it's a bit dearer at Cadwell. It might be £28. But I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, I found the actual thread now. It was Colin Wallace who asked who's camping or has a caravan at BSB for Cadwell. He says it's the first time for him. Someone called Tim Harvey of Not Touring Car fame. You don't know. Says he's never.
This is the Superbike show. just to bring it back to some sort of world of...
But people understand other things as well, other people know. Anyway.
Don't matter.
So anyway, apparently Tim Harvey chimed in and said he hasn't camped for years, but it used to be like a war zone, according to Tim. Martin...
Are you sure that's not like a refugee camp or something?
I would imagine every MSV circuit is totally beautiful and is always the best in the world ever.
I mean, I personally, from all the people I speak to about camping, all the facilities are fine.
Yeah, it's
so you can have a shower, you can go to the toilet, it's like anywhere else, I suppose.
Honestly, I mean, I did go camping at Brands last week or the week before? I think it was the week before, I forget now. But that was my first experience of staying on site at Brands Hatch, and it was absolutely fine. To be honest, it was a fantastic atmosphere. I was sleeping with sleeping in shut up in amongst some of the marshals who were always staying on site as well. And they are always up for a laugh.
You're digging deeper here, Lester. You want me to just keep digging, or are you going to be okay?
And that's really my only experience of... I've not camped at Alton Park, so I don't know. I've actually slept in the car park instead of camping.
Don't you use the Motorsport Media Hospitality Unit?
I do use the Motorsport Media Hospitality Unit.
Oh, okay. So I heard it's okay.
It's not bad in there. It has been described as a van before.
I think that's what they call it on the paperwork.
I don't know where these reports come from, but
no.
But apparently, it was just interesting to see the opinions flowing about Cadwell for camping, because I've never seen that side of things. I can't imagine where. Mind you, I've never fully sort of explored. Maybe up at the top end. There's plenty of places to go camping.
I'm sure you'll be able to camp wherever you are. It'll probably be on a first come first served basis, though. I know Thruxton was, because Cadwell is so busy. I know it's not bank holiday this weekend, bank holiday this year when a meeting is held, but it'll still be very, very busy, and you've got to take them things into account, I think.
Also, as well, Donna Louise Dawson chimed in and says the family and quiet camping area is great. Been there for the last 4 years, never had any problems with it, and always managed to get a hot shower as well, which is good. Can't be said for Silverstone.
Oh, okay. And the race circuits are available.
So, but yeah, basically, Cadwell, if you've got any tips or advice and whatnot.
All I can say is just go there and find out. You're going to be alive for the next couple of days to worry about it. So, just go and do it. I think I don't see why you wouldn't.
Back to the actual on track.
Back to actual stuff. That might be half relevant to the British Superbike Showdown Credential Championship. It's between 8 of them. I said this before. I don't think the McCann's team will get into the showdown this year. It's going to be bar an act of God, I think. Yeah.
So they will then.
Well, if I'm around, they probably will.
Yeah, I can't understand why that last phrase, why that last sentence you said was so controversial.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I seriously think you're going to be talking bad luck for other riders now for anyone below Christian Idden to get in. I think Christian Idden and Jake Dixon can get in. But it could all be decided here. It really could all be decided at Cadwell Park. Silverstone is a triple header, so there is room there. But Cadwell Park could be the turning point. This is a very difficult circuit, and if you get it right, you could propel yourself into that top 6 if you're in the running. So, it's a very important weekend. A little statistic here for you, Lester.
Oh, yeah, go on.
Of all the riders that are starting, this is taking into account that Billy McConnell does not start, 13 riders in the British Superbike paddock now, across all classes, have won at Cadwell Park. I'll read them out. Shane Byrne, Leon Haslam, Tommy Bridwell, Peter Hickman. You've got Michael Larity, James Ellison, Jake Dixon has won. All of them were in the Superbike class. Now all of these are elsewhere. So Jake Dixon, Bradley Ray, Glenn Irwin, Andy Reid, James Westmoreland. You've got Lee Jackson, Taylor McKenzie, And if you can account Billy McConnell, that makes 14, but there's probably going to be no Billy McConnell. So 13 riders have won around Cadwell, and they're all on that British Superbike grid. It's going to be a real scrap. And there is room for upsets. I keep saying to many people, one rider that consistently goes well there, and he's not in the running for the showdown at all, Lee Jackson. Lee Jackson has won around there before, as I just pointed out. Lee Jackson could really help Peter Hickman. There could be formation flying Smith's BMWs at the front of the British Superbike field, because Lee Jackson knows his way around there. He's a local lad to Cadwell Park, and he always goes well there. And crashed it last year in the race one, but I think he crashed out of 5th place. So, Lee Jackson could be an upset. He has also had a very good run of form. I think he was 5th or 6th in Sluxton, might have been 7th or something like that. He's definitely top 10. So Jackson's in a bit of form himself, and he likes Cadwell Park. So watch out for young Lee coming through there. There's always going to be one upset. And the other upset could be the weather. Cadwell, who knows what it can be like in Cadwell Park. One year it was sunny, and next day it was raining, and everyone was upside down on the grid. And it was madness, really. Last year it was dry from memory. The weather is windy for Friday. I don't know anything else, so I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, and touch wood, it'll be dry and everyone can have a fair run of things.
Well, with that in mind then, it's only right to possibly ask you about predictions for Cadwell Park then. Come on.
Peter Hickman does the double.
Okay, that was
I've had
quicker than I thought.
I've had the £10 with Tony Morris. Peter Hickman will do the double. I'm fairly sure. He'll definitely be up there. I'm saying he'll do the double. That's what I reckon he'll do. But Leon Aslam's the danger man around there, and we all know what Josh Brooks can do around Cadwell Park. These guys are top quality riders around here. They are Cadwell Park specialists. So keep your eye out for them. Jason O'Halloran, like you said, wants to win here, can win here. Honda are local. This is their big event of the year. They've got to do well, and I think he can. I really do think Jason O'Halloran could take the win here, could make it Honda's first of the year, I believe. I don't think they've won one yet. No, it'll be the first win for the Fireblade, the new one out this year. He always goes well around there, Jason O'Halloran. He's going to be a danger man on Sunday. Might even be up there in qualifying, and that's another one. Could qualify be wet and upside down. We've had it before. I reckon it's a little bit open, but my inkling, because of the form that he is in, is all about Peter Hickman. He's come off a win at Thruxton. He's gone to the Ulster Grand Prix, won 4 races there. He's coming back. He is in the form of his life. I've said it before, Peter Hickman could win this championship on consistency. He hasn't crashed it yet. He hasn't finished outside the top 10. This is serious championship material we're talking about.
You've just jinxed him.
Well, I don't think I have. I don't think Peter Hickman's superhuman to my jinxing malarkey. And I genuinely think Hickman is for the championship this year. Just like I said about Jake Dixon earlier.
It's still not broken clear. This is going down to the last lap bar in Axogod. Oh, bar in Axogod! What a commentator's curse that is on him.
You know that you have now just gone for me,
Yeah.
Once I'll get a clip and you can keep playing it over and over again of yourself.
But so, to be fair, I really hope that Kiko hasn't just jinxed.
I think Peter's in there with a serious chance this year. He's won at Cadwell Park before. He goes to Silverstone as a winner from last year. He won that thrilling race we saw with him and Shane Byrne, race 2 last year at Silverstone. He can win there. Alton Park, he went well at this year. He went all right. And then you're on to Assen. And then it's Brands Hatch, which he led the race earlier on in July. So I genuinely think Peter Hickman's up, definitely in for the showdown, if not in for a championship.
And since I asked you, it's only fair that I should really give my prediction. And it will. I'm gonna give 3 predictions.
Oh, okay. Sit on the fence. If you sit on that fence any longer, you get splinters.
The first one is that Shane Byrne will win one of the races. And I don't know how, I don't know why, but he probably will.
Okay.
And also, I quite perhaps think it's probably Brad Ray's time to... It might just be the case that a lot of chaos happens, mid-race downpour, loads of red flags. It could happen. And if it does, then you'll certainly hear about it for the next few weeks. And also, my third prediction is that maybe none of those things will happen. So,
and then there's 4, then they all will happen.
but yeah, so I just thought I'd cover all bases. No, but I think maybe it's time for Brad to have a. What am I thinking? I'm not even suggesting that he's had any bad luck or he's had a bad season or anything, but he's got to a high point now, admittedly, that we said earlier, that maybe nobody expected him to, but in a strange way, we did kind of expect him to, because we know he's that good a rider, but could something happen where people might be protecting their lead, or they don't want to, they're being a bit too cautious?
If they throw up the road, then, it could be a disaster. I think it could happen.
I mean, Brad's got nothing at all to lose by literally just throwing it and seeing
he's
what
not
happens.
been a showdown this year, and I'm sad to say that, but he isn't, and I didn't think he would be anyway at the start of the year. This is, like I say, it's all about learning you through. I think Bradley Ray could definitely be upset, and he reckons he can get top 5, and I don't doubt that for a minute. Chandler Warren Gray doesn't doubt his ability, that he doesn't doubt the team's ability either. The Bill-based Suzuki team are working very hard, and they're getting the results. It's shown in Stock Thousands as well with Alex Olsen. So definitely Bradley Ray could, he did an incredible job at Brands Hatch in July and in April, the Indy circuit. So yeah. I believe when we get to the circuits that Bradley has already raced at, such as Alton Park, such as Brands Hatch, we're looking at someone who could, in theory, cause a bit of an upset. We've seen it before in the showdown, let's not forget. Harry Main wearing smart has upsetted a lot of people when he took a win. Lee Costello in 2013 on a Housel Kawasaki. He's caused upsets before. When I say upset, I mean not upsetting the actual riders, I mean causing a result that no one would have.
Yeah, an unexpected result. A bit like sort of Jake Dixon-ish sort of thing.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know this year. Jake Dixon is expected to be up there now, I think. I really do. I think.
Yeah, but
Jake
before he wasn't up there. Then...
Yeah, it was an unexpected double and knock hill. But once I had sunk in and we realised this kid's got bags of talent, not when we ever doubted it anyway. I think Jake Dixon's kind of been considered now as as a titles player, and a lot of people are talking about him. And it shows because the team has got him in Moto2 for a race. Who knows where the future lies for Jake Dixon? I don't think he'll go to Moto2 straight away. I think we're still there. I don't know. I think we've got him for another year, and I really hope we have, because Jake reminds me a lot of riders who've come to before. Leon Camier, him and Bradley also very much alike. I think next year we're going to look at all the young guns and giving people like Leon Haslam and Shane Byrne a run for their money. If they're still racing, of course. Who knows? The contracts haven't all been signed yet that we know of.
Good point. I suppose I don't see there be... Although, if he doesn't win the championship this year, could Byrne bow out? It would be the perfect time for him to do it. I mean, he's knocking on a bit.
He's on a 2-year deal to carry on from this year and then to next year. But some people are reporting that's a 1+1 deal, which basically means you're this year with an option for next year. Do you know what I mean? So,
which
I don't know. If he gets a top 2 in the championship, I'm fairly sure he'll carry on for next year. The plan for him was to make it 6. He wants to get 100 wins. I've spoke to him, and that's his target. 100 wins is his target. But just bringing it back to what we can expect at Cadwell Park, if I may, little bit of fact working. Me and young Tony Morris worked this one out.
Oh, yeah.
The averages, since the showdown was introduced, the averages, the minimum, the 6th place that me and Tony Morris got hold of all the points of since the showdown was introduced in 2010, got the 6th place points, stuck them all together, added them up, and divided them by the number of years the showdown has been in place. And that works out as an average of 155 points into the showdown. Now, just to highlight just how difficult it is to get into the showdown in 2017, Josh Brooks and Jason O'Halloran, who are tied in 5th and 6th place, on 154. So, with 5 races to go until that crucial showdown is decided, we're looking at all the top 6 could need possibly to get 200 points. And that is incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
Wow.
That has never happened. The highest one was last year, Luke Mossey on 173. And I think we're going to go over that this weekend. So, with the form that Jason O'Halloran and Josh Brooks have at Cadwell Park, we could be talking of 200 by the end of this round. You could be looking at 220 to get into the showdown, and that bar will just keep getting higher and higher. It's incredible. I never thought about it like this until me and Tony Morris had one of our many long conversations. Because, at the end of the day, 200 points, you're talking more than 200 points to get into the top 6. That's amazing. Shane Burns on 203 as it is, but apart from that, no one else is there. So this, a lot of people are saying that it's going to be sorted out by Cadwell. It may well could be sorted out by Cadwell. If we get the top 6 into the 200 bracket, it's going to be hard work for Jake Dixon and Christian Eden to get in. Christian goes well at Silverstone now. 2 podiums there last year. So, I don't know. It's all very open still. It's going to be very difficult, whoever you are, to get in the showdown this year. It's going to be one of the toughest showdowns to get into. And when you're in the showdown, that toughness does not ease off. You have to get tougher. And the going gets tough gets going. So, It's going to be a lottery. It's going to be a lottery. And I think it's between 8 riders, like I say, but 200 points looks like it's going to be the target to get into that top 6.
Because I'm thinking back to when the showdown was introduced, and it was introduced for maybe all the right reasons, and
totally agree, yeah.
But it obviously caused a lot of controversy that I remember from the time, and in subsequent years as well. Is there still a need for the showdown? Is it still serving its purpose, do you think?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think, the showdown has made British Superbikes very unique. And it's actually, if you're in the Australian Championship, you've got to be a bloody good rider to come over to here, because that showdown is ruthless. There's no such thing as coming good towards the end of the season and racking up all the places. You have to be on it from the start. And some riders just simply aren't. So Sylvain Tolly, for example, coming back into British Superbikes in 2017, has struggled to get in it. Davide Giuliano left after 2 races, because the showdown, it creates this British Superbike Championship, which is now known as a career killer. If you can't do it here, it's very unlikely you're going to do it anywhere else, because British Superbikes has got so much talent. The depth of talent in that field is ridiculous. Yes, the numbers are slightly down as far as riders competing in the race, but the talent is a lot thicker, it's a lot denser. It goes down the field. You've got race winners galore. 13 race winners going to be on the grid at Cadwell Park. So, it's very difficult now to come into British Superbikes and just instantly start winning, because the showdown creates a system where you're not champion with 7 races to go, because it'd just be pointless. It creates a system now where it gives the top 6 a chance. And that's why it's ruthless, because 7th is 7th. If you're not in that top 6, you can only get to 7th. So it creates like this mini championship into the showdown, and then the real start really gets going once we're into the final 3 rounds.
I think perhaps the biggest criticism of the showdown, and I do still hear read a couple of comments, less so in 2017, because it has been now a bit of an established success, really. But still, there are some comments from people to say, well, how could potentially the guy who didn't win a race all season got into 6th place, got into the showdown, how could he win the thing without winning a single race?
I just totally disagree with that, because for me, that's happened before in straightforward championships. Andrew Pitt in 2000 won the World Supersport Championship without winning. So, I just don't buy that.
That's not a valid argument then.
No, I don't think it is. I think at the end of the day, the very best riders are going to win the championship anyway. The very best riders are going to fight it out. So, I just don't know. I don't think it's anything to do with, if you don't win a race and you just get the chance to win the championship. That's just not how it happens. You still have to win races, because it all counts your podium credits, and that's how it arranges the top 6. So, at the end of the day, I just don't know. I don't think there's nothing wrong with the showdown anymore. It's absolutely perfect, and it throws that extra dynamic from the off in British Superbikes. You can't sit around and force, because if you really want to get into a serious title winning position, you have to get the podiums. You have to go straight ahead. You can't afford to sit back in 4th and 5th and just allow it to come. Yeah, if you want to be in the top 6 and don't have any aspect, if you just want to have that chance of being the winner, yeah, just keep finishing in the top 6. But if you really want to have a serious crack at the whip, you've got to start winning races. You've got to get them podium points racked up from the green lights in round 1, race 1 of the season. That's just how it happens now. And that's great because it can catch people napping, and it can catch them with their trousers around their ankles, and it can catch people who have really got some, they might have really good, strong 4 rounds, and then they're sorted for the rest of the year. They can afford to have the 4th and 5th if they're on the podiums for the first few races. It creates a very special dynamic in British Superbikes, and I love it. I think it's a great thing, and I personally don't see why anyone would disagree with that. It's championships have been won before without having the major championships. Major championships have been won before without having a showdown, but they've been won without race wins. So I don't know. I think it's just great for the sport. It gets more manufacturers involved because they have more chance of being successful. And that's great for the sport if more manufacturers are involved.
Yeah.
So I read it.
If it works, it works. And
it has worked. I think it really has worked.
By all accounts, it still does work, even in 2017. So Kiko, then before we wrap things up, any final thoughts regarding this weekend's events at Cadwell? We've already prized out of you your predictions. Any other potential? What about some predictions in the support categories, perhaps?
Right, I'm going to say, Keith Farmer for Supersport. Jack Kennedy, and I'm going to also have a bit of Andy Irwin. I think it'll be them 3. Joe Francis does well at Cadwell, and I think he could be in a mix. I think it's going to be them 4. Stock 600s, you're going to be looking at Dan Stamper, Tom Oliver. The Neve brothers are very quick as well, and you can't discount Ryan Vickers. He learns things so quickly that you don't have time to make a prediction. He's already up there. I think he was 20th in Thruxton practice, and he qualified 5th. So, it's an amazing lead. Stock thousands, Danny Buchan is your man at Cadwell Park. I tell you what, he needs to get sponsors on the belly pan of his bike because he gets so high in the air. There's a great sponsors opportunity there. Danny Buchan could really.
Some people do put stickers on the.
It's spectacular to watch. Danny Buchan is king of the mountain in the stock 1,000 class. Sensational. Richie Cooper will be there. He was knocked off in one of the races last year. Actually, I think did he finish one? I'm not sure. He definitely got knocked off in one of them. So I think, I definitely think the stock thousands are open. Motor Stars, you're looking a little bit at Jake Archer and Tom Boudamos, the City Lifting boys, who are, I think their bikes prepared by Ryan Saxby, so very well-run team, and then them 2 are the cream of that class, and I think they'll have another head-to-head. Tom Boudamos has won every race that he's finished this year, I think, barring 1. But Jake Archer is only 8 points behind him in the championship because Jake's consistency is bang on. He hasn't actually not finished a race yet. So loads and loads of predictions there, but I think that's summing it up very nicely indeed.
Well, there we go. I'm not going to give any predictions because they would almost certainly, definitely be wrong if I bothered. So I won't bother. But I will certainly, to be honest, I mean, when it comes to the support categories, I am more of a sort of a neutral fan, to be honest. So I don't really, do you know what I mean? I don't really sort of cheer on any particular rider other than the Cool Fab Racing British Mini Bikes Championships graduates and current riders, of course. Got to always support them.
But they are the stars of the future, though, Lester. People just think of mini bikes.
Of the futures.
Yeah, mini bikes don't mean anything. Well, actually, if you look at the people who've graduated from the class, Mossy, Ray, Scott Redding has been there before. He's had links. Danny Kent. What are people on about when they say, mini bikes? They're talking tosh.
And all these riders still go back to the Cool Fab Racing.
It's absolute nonsense. I just hate it when people slate a series off or whatever. Yeah, World Superbike ain't as strong as it could be, but it's still all right. So people who think, oh, the mini bikes and the silly series, oh, I don't mean anything, doesn't even deserve TV time. Honestly, you ain't got a clue. You absolutely ain't got a clue. You know, I ain't ranting now. It's 1 minute to 10.
Sounds like a rant.
No, but it is. The people just look at one class and think, no. It's like a bit like the Supersport 300s. People are just dead against that, but I don't think it's bad. We need something to substitute the Supersport 600 class because apparently it's on the decline, even though sales in Asia are up. But I think Supersport 300 is a great class. It's brilliant racing. So people need to get out of their heads to discount all these feeder championships because they're some of the best. They produce the best riders. So we're going to be on about Moto3 earlier in Austria. The CEV series has got a rider called Jaume Masia. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, Jaume Masia. So it's Jaume Masia, I think his name is. So we'll go with that. He was second. He was at one point second in that Moto3 race in Austria. That was sensational stuff. I mean, you don't see that. He's 16. He's younger than me. 16. You know, so
you're getting on a bit now, Kiko.
No, but you know when people like discount these series, just look back at where most of the people in Moto3, the World Championship, have come. Where have they come from? Obviously, they've come from some of the best feeder series in the world. You can't discount them. It's great racing. It's close racing. It's action, and you should all watch it.
Exactly. So do follow Kiko's advice and.
Don't just follow mine. Follow Tom Brooks's advice. Big shout out to Tom Brooks. I know he surprised his girlfriend earlier in a restaurant. I saw that on Facebook or Twitter. I'm not sure.
What did he do? I don't want to know.
Apparently, it was just a surprise because I think it was her birthday or something, and he came over from Spain and like popped into the restaurant. It was all on camera. Check it out. It's on his Facebook. But he actually said on Twitter, "Watch out for this Jaume Masia because he's been quick. He's forced in the CEV." Don't just take my advice, take his. The best riders are coming from that championship. Joan Mir, for example.
Yeah, and it's still good to know that we're probably feeding some of the best young riders into CEV, if not looking at perhaps even taking over its position on the European and world stage with future championships. Who knows? That's a debate perhaps for another day.
I'm running out of time. I'm starving. I've got to order a pizza or something.
You're wasting away, Kiko. That's what it is.
Oh, obviously. Can you not see?
Exactly. But yeah, thank you very much for...
catch up next week.
Exactly, yeah, we'll catch up and we'll go back through the tapes and find out whether or how much Kiko was wrong with his predictions, or I was wrong. I'm probably wrong anyway. But yeah, thank you for this first Superbike show and doing a visual radio show is what we're officially calling it.
I've got a face for commentary, but I don't mind doing the odd bit presenting.
Yeah, and anyway, so and thank you for tuning in live. If you indeed you have done.
Thanks everyone. Tweet away.
Do share and tweet and like and whatever your opinions of Kiko's take on tonight's show. It's always good to hear and to read those comments, so do keep them coming into us throughout the week, especially if you're not always necessarily watching live. Thank you very much. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Should we say Tuesday? Should we make a date for that?
Say Tuesday. We'll make that a date for us, Lester.
Okay, Tuesday 8 p.m. Providing I've recovered from the 2CV 24-hour race from Snetterton this weekend. Oh God. So thank you very much, and that's all basically. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Motorsport Radio.